Okay, I believe we are on. Yep. Thank you all for attending. And today I'm going to carry on a little bit more about the virus and the situation of the virus. The biggest problem that I've watched so far is we have an idiot for president, and we have a lot of people in the news media that's hyper in relationship to showing how much of an idiot we have for president. But that's not helping anybody make decisions as to what's going on. So, to really fill you in, I pointed out last time that we have over 350, 380 million people in the United States alone. And we've only done 4 to 4.5 million of those people in testing. And our testing on a day to day basis is only in the thousands. And we need to get to, on the lowest end, 1 million a week. Yeah, and if we really, really try, we can do that. But we don't have the kits, we don't have the people, and like I showed last time, we have organizations that are funding in order to organize this and bring it together. So whether or not the process around testing is really brought to your attention, you're going to find as time goes on that was really the most important thing is testing. Every single person gets tested. And then we also have to find a vaccine, but then we have to realize that we're not dealing with a misdiagnosed process, where in the beginning we didn't really have a diagnosis. We thought it was the flu. We thought it was something like the flu. So our idiot president is still stuck in the thought that it's a virus or it'll be gone because of sunshine. You know how flus go. He keeps relating. Is it working? Okay. He keeps relating, to these idiot, processes, which you can really only draw to a lot of people's lower mind. There's a whole lot of people out there with lower minds. So they're thinking about, should I be using Lysol and drinking it or pouring it on my body or, things like that. And, and that's, we should not even be in that question. Yeah. But our biggest deal is that we really don't know the real reality of this. And I can give you that reality. Yeah. Because there is doctors who do know. Yeah. There are people who are in this, like Bill Gates and others who have been working in this field for a very long time. They know. And I know. Yeah, I am not illiterate. I'm not a Dalai Lama. I'm not the president. I'm not somebody who's not really studying 24/7. I am the guy who studies 24/7. Yeah, and I have a very good, clear picture, and I'm witnessing other doctors and engineers and scientists, such as myself, that are seeing this and see the diagnosis and see the need for us to investigate in order to come up with a better diagnosis, because we're finding that individually it comes up different. It's not a particular thing that hits a person in a specific way. Yeah. So, but what it does do is that it breaks down the system dramatically. It affects all the organs, the brain, it affects the lungs, the liver, the kidneys, all of it. And it creates blood clots, enormous blood clots, and they have to then put heparin into your system and put you on a ventilator because you can't breathe, because they misdiagnosed, thinking that this was more a breathing situation, where in reality it was a blood flow situation. And all the areas of the body was losing blood flow due to clots. Yeah, so there are many people who have lost their limbs, and no one's mentioned that on the news. People losing their limbs. People go into the hospital and come out without their limbs. People go into the hospital, come out. For the rest of their life, they're connected to having their kidneys go through regular kidney process. Yeah. To be on that, from here on out. Yeah. And these are people who had diabetes, people who had blood pressure problems, people who had underlying symptoms because they were not healthy people. And I can tell you, there's less than 1% in our beautiful America of people who are healthy. Less than 1%. Yeah. So, I mean, it takes day by day, every day, no fanatical anything. It's just purity of mind and heart and right relationship to food. It's a really long road. Consistent, yeah, is what it takes in order to be healthy, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually and physically. You can't be just some of this. You got to be all of this. That's our defense. Yeah. The reason why all these symptoms are coming up is because we went in with symptoms. And now we are devastated because we were misdiagnosed in the process of the treatment. Doctors said, use this thing for, malaria. Well, they're finding that's the number one thing they're saying not to use because it causes blood clots. It causes problems that are in the very same region that people are having these symptoms afterwards. Yeah, so if you don't die of it, you will later. If you suffered through it, there are 1 million people we know of, 1 million people who have gone through the whole thing. Not light symptoms, but people who have gone through the whole entire illness. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and so many 50,000 just in America alone who have died. Yeah. And if you witness this, you'll witness people who are saying, I have PTSD after this because I remember dying. In and out, dying. It was horrible. I was dead 1 minute, I'm not dead the next. I'm having out-of-body experience. I'm having experiences of what it was like to have died. And they are horrible experiences. You should only go through that once. Yeah? But these people went through it maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times over that long period. Yeah? Left alone, die, come back, and no one knew. They just saw spiraling down. But these people's experience, and there's one that I'll show you of a guy who's now dealing with kidney problems and many, many things, barely made it through it, and now he has PTSD over having the experience of having died. Not once, but many times. Yeah. Yeah. Another one, a person went in and they had to put him to sleep in order to get past the enormous symptoms that he was going through. Yeah. Put him on heparin, give him the ventilator, the whole bit. The heparin didn't work. The clots got worse. The legs got so clotted they had to cut him off. Or he would die. And then in order to keep one guy alive who was only 42 years old, they had to tell these people, would it be all right if you take your 72-year-old father and take the ventilator off of him, put it on this 42-year-old man, and move your father to the side and let him die? Is that okay? Can we do that? They had to ask that question. And this poor doctor's just crying, so much PTSD. These are heroic things that are, it's the reason why it's a hero energy, experience, process of life, is that we're dealing with things that are so tragic, and it hits your heart. One moment after another, it hits your heart. Yeah. Well, for us to really help, because we are the ones who have to help. Heal or heal thyself. You have to learn to heal yourself. You need to learn to eat correctly. You need to learn to stay purified. To do that, you need to drink a lot of water. Yeah, it's simple. Drink a lot of water. 1 gallon a day. 1 gallon. 1 gallon of water. When that gallon is empty, you've drank your water. If the gallon's, still flowing along, you didn't drink your water. If you can't figure it out, get 1 gallon, pour your water in it, and pour that into cups or glasses or whatever you're going to drink, to know that you drank 1 gallon. Because it's really important. You'll find out at a time like this, I wish I had drank my water. Because you're going to find that your liver has got problems. Your kidneys have got problems. Yeah. Your circulatory system has problems. Yeah? The food you're eating isn't giving you the nitrites that you're supposed to get, the kind of special nitrite, not the kind that's in meat, not the kind that you get from, barbecuing. Yeah? But there are certain chemicals and processes in our body that lowers and cleans our veins and our arteries, and it lowers high blood pressure, and it stimulates. You take and do these things just by eating macadamia nuts. If you eat a handful of macadamia nuts, yeah, it'll raise your nitric oxide up dramatically. And that in itself can protect you. But you got to do this years in advance. Can't start going, well, I want to be a Mac nut, and think that this is going to keep you from getting the virus. The thing is that once you get it, how bad does it get you? Yeah. And if you have underlying symptoms, which is everything they're seeing, if you have underlying symptoms, if you have diabetes, if you have hepatitis, if you have a cancer problem, if you have, all kinds of, any kind of thing, circulatory problems, breathing problems, kidney problems, they're going to get 1,000,000 times worse when this comes on. Yeah. So I'm going to show you a couple of videos.
The virus seeming to attack not just the lungs, but the gut, the heart, the kidneys, even the brain.
What we're seeing is organ damage all over the place.
People are dying of a disease that we do not understand. Thousands of people, old and young, and yes, there are young people dying. They are dying of a disease that does not make sense to us.
Tonight, more than 3 months after the first reported COVID cases in the United States, we take you inside the medical world, where they're racing towards solutions in real time, seeking to unravel the mystery of the virus, which has taken so many lives.
We're like medical detectives, and you get clues from all around the world.
People say they're throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks.
It is true, and I think this is a situation that never happened in medicine in many years.
Last month, Sean Evans was planning a summer wedding, excited to walk down the aisle with his fiancée, Sarah. But the 40-year-old father of 2 says he knew something was wrong when he began experiencing the telltale signs of COVID.
I would lay down and have these real bad coughing spells to where I couldn't hardly breathe. I lost my sense of taste. I lost my sense of smell. My body ached.
I understand you had an underlying condition before you tested positive.
I have high blood pressure and diabetes.
After a week of ignoring his symptoms, he finally went to the hospital, where he not only tested positive for coronavirus, he was shocked to learn his kidneys were failing.
The one test that they did was supposed to be a 20, and mine was 200.
So you basically went off the charts.
Yeah. They told me if I'd have waited another day or so, I wouldn't be here now.
Doctors put in an incision and started dialysis immediately.
My heart just sunk. It really scared me, and I wanted to see my kids grow up and all this. Yeah, it really hit hard.
Diagnoses like Sean's may be more common than once thought. A study cited in Science magazine found that out of 85 Wuhan patients, roughly a quarter suffered kidney failure. In another study, out of 200 patients, nearly 60% showed signs of kidney damage. And now a theory emerging that the answers could lie not in the organs, but in the bloodstream. Doctors around the globe reporting increased blood clotting.
Chinese doctors recovered from the CCP virus, but their skin turned very dark. Dr. Yi Fen and Dr. Hu Weifeng worked in Wuhan Central Hospital with whistleblower Dr. Li Wenliang, who was punished by authorities for sounding the alarm over the CCP virus and died after getting infected. According to Chinese media, Dr. Hu developed fever and fatigue on January 18th. Dr. Yi's symptoms developed around January 18th, several days before China announced human-to-human transmission. Dr. Li Wenliang developed symptoms even earlier on January 10th. Chinese state media quoted a doctor in Wuhan who said the livers of the 2 men were damaged. When iron enters the body, it is metabolized and stored by the liver. If the liver has been damaged, iron will flow into the blood, resulting in increased iron content. And this causes a darkening of the skin. A March paper from medical journal The Lancet indicated that 14 to 53% of CCP virus infections result in abnormal liver function. A liver doctor in Taiwan told us that medication for the CCP virus, such as remdesivir, may cause liver damage. And it has been reported that a number of patients with chloroquine, hydroxychloroquine, and azithromycin see similar side effects. Doctors say skin color may return to normal after the liver recovers. And virus patients seem to be experiencing blood clots and strokes. Doctors are reporting an increase in virus patients with blood clots, gel-like clumps of blood which can be deadly, and a significant number of young adults in their 30s and 40s. A recent study in the Netherlands found that over 30% of virus patients in intensive care experience blood clotting. Since the virus is a respiratory illness, doctors expected the virus to impact the lungs but not the blood. Hospitals are now testing blood thinners on patients.
The main point that I showed in the end was the fact that it's been proven up to this point, and it will be proven more, that you do not develop antibodies once you get this virus. Yeah, this is not the flu. This is not something like we've had before. It's horrifying. Yeah, it's a disease once it hits. It's not just a virus. Yeah, and its process is that it can come around as often, and you can get it as often as it happens. Yeah, there's no antibody reality behind getting it, you know, which is what a lot of people are putting out. They're actually giving little certificates, little passports that you can go to work and that you're safe and all this. You can take that out and show it to someone and you're good. Yeah, and that's just totally delusion. Yeah, it's a political or an economic process that doesn't care about you. Yeah, and it's going to just use you and give you a certificate of saying that you're safe, and you're going to think you're safe. Don't do it. You know, don't let anybody do it. Yeah, there is nothing. You know, you can put all the sprays on, you can put all the masks on you want, but the only way you're going to avoid it is staying away from other people, because you don't know where it leads, where it comes from, how it's passed. And even if a person doesn't have symptoms, if they haven't been tested and they don't know for sure they don't have it, they're passing it on. Because even though you have it and you don't have symptoms, you're a carrier. Yeah, and that's how it got hit. It wasn't by a bunch of people coughing on people, yeah, and being sick at the same time. Yeah, so we have a very difficult process to get through. Yeah, and this process is going to get 100 times worse. Yeah, because all the people who are 1 million people right now, 1 million people and counting, all the people who went to the hospital, had their symptoms and everything, now have new diseases, new kidney damage, new liver damage, new lung damage, new heart damage, degeneration of the relationship to your cellular body and your veins, your arteries, your circulation. All the things that keeps us from having a heart attack. So heart attacks are going to come fast and frequently, as though it's an epidemic. And there's not a whole lot we're going to be able to do about it. We're just going to see it as the ongoing event of the virus, that the virus lasts for years. And you don't die of it just right away. You die of it, and you're going to die of it. Yeah? So we have to test. We have to test 30 million people a week. We can't listen to anybody who says, we'll try and get something together in a couple weeks. We don't know if we'll be able to do something. There are groups that are willing to put together all the people, all the tests and everything and have it going. Everybody in their mind has to think this thought. Yeah? Not that 1 million a week. 1 million a week means that literally millions and millions of people unnecessarily will die of heart attacks and kidney disease. Unnecessarily. Because we laissez through this thing, waiting for people, for the scale of all this to go down, thinking that's the measurement. You're not doctors, people. That is not the measurement. That is not how we measure symptoms in people. We take this very seriously. And in order to deal with this, everybody individually has to take it seriously as though they're a doctor. They have to gain that heartfelt strength to be able to make a decision that, you just simply don't take this opportunity and have it come about. Yeah. So the number one things we need to do is get our act together and get healthy. Yeah. Those who are just hanging out now, eat right. Yeah. Eat the things that you can eat that are really good for you. But the one thing that's really, really good for you is water.
The human body is 55% to 75% water. When you are born, your body is comprised of 75% water. As you grow older and become an adult, this number becomes a bit smaller, 60%. As for seniors, their bodies are about 50% water. Where does all this water hide? One-third of it can be found in your blood and between your cells, and 2/3 of it fills your cells. It's interesting that the more muscle a person has, the more water their body contains. Overweight people have a smaller percentage of water because fat tissue contains a smaller amount of water. On top of that, men have a higher percentage of water in their body than women. Some of your organs need more water than others. In his work, The Chemical Composition of the Adult Human Body and Its Bearing on the Biochemistry of Growth, H. Mitchell concluded that the human brain and heart are composed of 73% water. The lungs are approximately 83% water. Your skin isn't as dry as it seems either. It's composed of 64% water. As for your kidneys and muscles, they can be as much as 79% water. Even your bones are quite damp. They are 31% water. It seems that you have enough water inside you to live without consuming any more for days on end, just like camels. Nope, don't make such a grave mistake. You don't have this water to keep forever. You lose impressive volumes of liquid every day, mostly by sweating and urinating. And if you don't replenish your water, this may lead to severe dehydration. How much water is optimal for you to stay healthy? Here we go. We've approached the touchy question of how much water people need to drink. The Institute of Medicine recommends that women drink no less than 72 ounces of water a day, which equals 9 cups. As for men, they need more water, 104 ounces, or 13 cups a day. At the same time, the volume of water you should drink is much more individualized than that. For example, pregnant and breastfeeding women need to drink more water. Children require less water than adults. A child of 4 to 8 years old needs to drink 40 ounces or 5 cups of water daily. Children from 9 to 13 should have 56 to 64 ounces or 7 to 8 cups of water. 14 to 18-year-olds need 64 to 88 ounces, or 8 to 11 cups of water every day. Men older than 19 should drink 104 ounces, or 13 cups of water every day. For women, 72 ounces, or 9 cups is enough. If a woman is pregnant, she needs no less than 80 ounces, or 10 cups of water a day. Breastfeeding women should drink even more, 104 ounces, or 13 cups of water. These numbers don't mean that you have to make yourself gulp down only pure water. They refer to your overall daily water intake. This means that anything containing water counts. For example, vegetables and fruits. Such products as spinach, cucumbers, watermelon, berries, green peppers, radishes, celery, and cauliflower have a high water content. At the same time, try to avoid soft drinks, alcoholic drinks, and beer. Besides containing water, they also have an impressive amount of empty calories. There are also some cases where you need to drink more water than other people. For example, if you exercise, drink 2 cups of water more than usual. If your workout lasts longer than 1 hour, you should add even more to your daily water intake. The same goes if you live in a hot climate or at an elevation higher than 8,000 feet. And if you're suffering from diarrhea, fever, or vomiting, you should also drink additional water. What will happen if you don't drink enough water? The numerous processes that happen in your body throughout the day can't work well without water. If you don't get enough water, your body temperature won't stay within its normal range. Your joints won't be lubricated and cushioned. Your body waste won't be able to leave your body through sweat, urine, and bowel movements. Even your spine will end up unprotected. In addition, if you don't keep your body hydrated during the day, your brain will start to function poorly and your energy level will drop. Even if you have mild dehydration, when you lose 1 to 3% of your body weight, which can be caused by heat or hard exercise, some of your brain functions will get temporarily impaired and your physical endurance will drop.
So now you know you need water, and lots of it. I say a gallon, I mean, this nutrition thing changes every 10 years, and, so I've been saying what I say all along, so I would go with a gallon. I don't care who you are. If you're a little kid, don't drink a whole gallon, but drink up a lot. Aside from that, there are foods to eat. And if you're going to eat, for the purpose of nutrition, like drinking water, one of the best foods for your whole body, is avocado. And you want to try and get a whole avocado in your body on a daily basis. It's not just the oil in it, it's the life, the nutrients, the oil, the minerals, everything that's in it. It's really high. And it gives to your body things that if you didn't have it, you'd be missing it, and since you don't eat it, you're missing it. So if you put it in your body on a day-to-day basis, at least 1 avocado a day, these are the benefits.
This fruit has antibacterial and antioxidant flavonoids, which kill bacteria in your mouth and make your breath fresh. It's so good at doing its job that it may even prevent oral cancer. Yes, you heard us correctly. Scientists from Ohio State University conducted a study, and it showed that nutrients from Hass avocados can thwart oral cancer cells, not only killing them, but also preventing precancerous cells from developing into full cancers. So we suggest it's time to throw your breath freshener away and replace it with a delicious avocado. Number 8. Your kidneys will work more efficiently. There's a miraculous mineral to be found in avocados, potassium. Remember its name. We'll talk about it a bit later. Anyway, potassium helps your system keep a healthy fluid balance through chemical channels for cells and organs. A good fluid balance allows your kidneys to function better. That's why avocados are highly recommended for patients with kidney disease. But there's one small exception. If you suffer from hyperpotassiemia, you should stay as far away from avocados as you possibly can. The high amount of potassium contained in this fruit is dangerous for you and can lead to all kinds of unnecessary health problems. If you don't have this condition but are still doubtful as to whether you should add avocados to your diet or not, consult your doctor to get the whole picture and find out all the details. Number 7, your cholesterol and triglyceride levels will decrease. High cholesterol or triglyceride levels are never good, but what matters most is that cholesterol and triglyceride markers are linked to increased risk of heart disease. Not exactly good news, right? But that's when avocados come to the rescue once again. There are 2 types of cholesterol: low-density lipoprotein, or LDL, which can form plaques in your arteries, and high-density lipoprotein, or HDL, which behaves way better in your system by transporting excess cholesterol to your liver, which later removes it from your body. Specialists from Mexico conducted a study that showed how eating avocados regularly lowers the bad LDL cholesterol and blood triglycerides by up to 22% and increases the good HDL cholesterol by up to 11%. Just one more reason to fall in love with avocados. Number 6, your liver will function more efficiently. Health concerns regarding the liver can be hard to solve, but let's be real. Nothing is impossible for avocados. This fruit is actually one of the best products for a liver-friendly diet, and that's all thanks to its ability to help your body produce glutathione. The liver desperately craves this antioxidant to filter out harmful substances and protect its cells from damage. Avocados also contain vitamin C and E, a powerful combination that can neutralize free radicals in no time, protecting your liver even more. Vitamin E can also team up with vitamin K, also found in avocados, to quell cellular inflammation. So one small avocado can truly be your liver's protector against a surprisingly wide variety of conditions and all things evil. A true jack of all trades of the fruit world.
So I'm pretty good at what I do, yeah, and there's a lot of people out there, if you look at the symptoms that they're dying from, and the 2 things that I just pointed out are natural things that we could do immediately for people who have gone through the coronavirus, is give them as much avocado as they can have. It will help heal and fortify their kidneys, their livers, and their blood supply. Those are the main things that we have problems with. And they'll try drugs and but you need to use food. This is how this all works. It's through food and herbs and things like that that prevents this, strengthens us, stabilizes us, balances us. It's God's way. Yeah. And water is really necessary. Take it as part of yoga. Yeah. That you have a responsibility as your own healer to be the one who takes care of yourself. And then you're taught what it is, that's what I do. I teach what it is that you need to do. And it's not a fanatical thing. I'm not asking for big things. Avocado and water, that's not a lot. I haven't even started. Yeah. But avocado and water, that's pretty simple. Yeah. But the main thing is let's not die. And let's not ruin our future. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people are going to be suffering, and this is going to come around many, 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 many times over the next 10, 15, 20 years. Yeah. So we're going to be in the most difficult place humanity has ever imagined its past and can imagine how the future will turn out. If we don't do all the right things, if we don't build and set people up to become doctors, nurses, engineers, people who are going to work on this blood lab and work on the relationship of viruses and containing viruses and helping people get through the healing process, and do their nutrition or probably diet and all those things that I'm recommending. If a lot of people get educated in that and provide those services to the millions of people who are going to be living and suffering, who need these services taken care of for them, rather than just a doctor giving them shots or a nurse standing there waiting for them to die and just monitoring their vital signs. We need to do more. Yeah. We need to give avocado. We need to drink a lot of water. We need to prevent by isolating ourselves. Yeah. And we need to know that this is going to go on forever and always has gone on. And we need to do what we have to do is preventive medicine. It's always the thing in my teaching is that we are responsible for preventive medicine. You're the doctor, and the doctor is to assist you. And you're to get smart enough to where you can talk to the doctor and not be thinking that the president has some idea as to what's a new science he's inventing that afternoon. It's insane. You need to be at a level of a doctor. You're all qualified. Yeah. It's the consciousness that needs to be elevated. Yeah. So I'm doing everything I can to bring that consciousness into major collective consciousness so doctors and people can get all these false prophets and false doctors and false healers and all this quasi bullshit out of the way, astrologers and everybody dropping out of the way so we can start turning our minds toward real science, real engineers, real activity, real philanthropers, that are here in order to make this a better world. And all of humanity, their thing is to join them. Become a part of those groups. Find a place within those groups and be a part of that. Facilitate it. Yeah. So there's another thing going on. One more thing. It's an interesting thing. We have a time to where we're dealing with the process of the virus, and we're dealing with a lot of death and a lot of people dying, and simultaneously we were dealing with North Korea wanting to nuclear bomb us and everybody else they don't like. Yeah. Well, it just so happens it's a 90% chance he's dead. Yeah. And that is a major purification. One of the many things that reaches into our soul as a collective. When you have a body of millions of people being tortured and treated in the way that they are, both in China and other places, that affects us all. Keeps our consciousness down, low, because we can't do anything about it. And if you can't do anything about it, you won't grow. You've got to get past what it is, the propaganda, the bullshit, anything. You must get past it in order to serve humanity. Yeah, that's my job. That's what I do. Everything you'll hear from me is the fact that I am past it. Yeah, and I'm here to serve humanity, and I'm going to share with you what it is you need to focus on. Yeah, and it's a new group of world servers. Yeah, it's an understanding that China and other countries, Spain, other countries that were part of a dictatorship that tried to rule the world are suffering beyond belief right now. There are enormous numbers of people in New York that was part of the Hitlerian movement that tried to destroy the earth. Yeah? So New York is not pure. The money, the economy, the relationships that went on in New York was violently, aggressively against humanity. Yeah? So there's really bad karma going on there. From past, it created all the processes of our last devastating drop, back in the 30s of us losing all our money and the stock market falling and the whole bit. That was all about politicalism and war and all the greed and the influences that built up at that time. Yeah, and we had too much propaganda. We didn't have radio. We had no way of knowing the truth. We heard lies from politicians, and we voted, and we had to believe in what we voted in. And there was no way of knowing the truth. Yeah, we're not in that anymore. It's important that, we can get truth out there as much as possible. And if you can get truth out there in relationship to this virus, and understand that this virus is here because we have impurities, and we have corruption in all these countries, and we have countries that are still ran by the same corrupt regime that were the dictators of those countries. They're still there, hidden. Italy, still there. The Pope's still there. All of it hidden, veiled, and it's causing an enormous imperil into the lives of our future lives, our present life, and our past lives. So if we see these things started drying up, oil companies drying up, going out of business. Oh my, isn't that terrible? Pope goes out of business because no one's paying the Pope anymore. No one sees the Pope. No one goes to... No, I mean, the Pope's got a lot of bills. He's got the biggest bank you'll ever imagine, but corruption that supports that bank no longer is putting corrupt money into the bank because they're drying up. This thing's going to dry up, and the people who are going to dry up are the corrupt ones. They're corrupt. They've never given, they've never shared, and they've hidden it all. And then there's the new group of world servers. And they will show you their bank book, and they will share that bank book, and they'll give the billions of dollars they've got, they'll give you 1/3 of it right here and now. And if you need more, they'll give the whole thing. Yeah. They'll openly show you. Everybody in the new group of world servers is that way. Yeah. So we're coming out of one thing, going into another. And if we see an event like the North Korean idiot, the senior idiot of them all.
Breaking news tonight. It is out of North Korea, and it's a serious question about the health of Kim Jong-un following recent surgery. This is what a source is calling the concerns of credible, but saying that the severity is hard to assess. CNN's Jim Sciutto is here with more. I know that is a bit complicated, but Jim Sciutto is going to explain all of it to us as much as he can right now. Jim, I'm so glad that you are here. You would know about all this. Talk to me about your reporting. Break it down for us. What are you learning?
So Don, a U.S. official with direct knowledge tells me that the U.S. is now monitoring intelligence that the health of the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is in grave danger. This is following a surgery in recent days. We should note that 5 days ago, Kim was notably absent from a ceremony honoring his grandfather, Kim Il-sung. This is the kind of public ceremony like the one you're seeing here on the screen that Kim Jong-un traditionally takes part in. He was absent from that ceremony 5 days ago. It was 4 days before when he was last seen in public at a Politburo meeting. So during those intervening days, there were questions. Why is he absent? And it's more recently that the U.S. has been monitoring intelligence that he had a surgery, that the aftermath of that surgery, there were complications, and his health is now in grave danger. Don, I should note that with any intelligence issue regarding North Korea, that North Korea is the blackest of black boxes when it comes to intelligence for the U.S., a difficult box to penetrate. So when discussing intelligence about North Korea, you always have to keep that in mind. But again, you really have a combination of indicators here now. The intelligence about this surgery, the complications following it, but also his absence from that event a number of days ago.
There's bad news. So we get lots of news, yeah? And it's not a coincidence that all this is happening at the same time. You know, a purging, a cleansing, criminals, you know, child molesters, teenage molesters, multi-billionaires, you know, being able to get away with it all their life. All of a sudden they get busted. Prince of England gets busted. You know, all these people who never got busted are getting busted prior to this even coming down. So we still have all that to deal with. Yeah? All of that. That is purification. That's judgment. That's little finger God coming along going, well, time to reduce the karma on planet Earth. Yeah? And you do that just by laying that karma right down where it came from and penetrate it. Yeah? And all of a sudden, you know, we've got a multi-billionaire who's gotten away with it many times. But he's just part of a group. Michael Jackson, he's dead and gone, so what can we do? This guy's now dead and gone too, but we got records. We got all kinds of information. We've got names. We got people from all around the world, the richest people, and pictures and videos of those people having sex with these little kids. That all is to come out. These are world lunar lords who are all looking good today, but not going to look so good tomorrow. Yeah, even the Queen of England is shuddering in the thought that her kid, a son, you know, ranking, possibly be king, is out there having sex with little girls. You know? And he's not alone in it, because it's just the thing that's done when you're really rich. Yeah? There are no laws, there are no morals, there are no ethics. It's all in the rooted, seated glamour behind the scene. And all of that, whether it be the Pope, you know, or the priest, who are all homosexual and carrying out their sexual different ceremonies at night. Yeah. And doing that, and then in the morning putting on their gowns and coming out and starting their whole priesthood. But all night long they're having a gay time, you know, whether it be in a bar or in a, you know, one of the biggest nightclubs for homosexuals is within 10 blocks from the Pope's main place. You know, the largest number of prostitutes on earth are located within 5 miles of that place. The largest number of prostitutes. Yeah, and that's girls. And yet we know the priests are gay. So who's doing the girls? I would say they're doing both. Yeah, because these are the most perverted beings on the planet. And they need hookers. Yeah, they got all kinds of extra money. Yeah, and they're supporting, you know, a process of lifestyle on the earth, you know, that's creating inside of people. Here they're going, oh, please forgive me, you know, to this person. They're saying, please forgive me. While this person is doing what they're doing, yeah, and there are 1 million demons sitting inside their body as you're sitting there hoping and praying that they're going to forgive you in this church of demons. A house of hell, a house of demons, under pagan worship and everything, all in the name of Jesus Christ, but not in the name of Jesus Christ. Yeah, yeah. You know, so it's discernment and discrimination. It really is. That's what gets you clear of this process. You know, so knowing that, you know, a person like this North Korean guy is leaving the body, that's great. And knowing that these perverted people are being busted, that's great. But you need to not think that this is a coincidence. You need to think that this is the house of God. And Jesus is back. And it's his house. And you're not allowed in this house unless you behave. And if you don't behave correctly, you're going to go to jail. You're going to get busted. You're going to be surrounded by light. And the darkness will not create a delusion or an illusion to cover it up. That's the forces of Christ. Yeah? So I'm going to do a meditation, and it's for the healing of the nations. Yeah? So let's start that. Yeah. Okay, just repeat after me. I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of my ashram, soul, and monad. To guide me into the right activity in the plan. To clarify and stimulate my mind. To transform and to transmute my feelings and emotions. To energize and vitalize and heal my physical and etheric body. So there is a normal flow of energy in my physical and etheric body. Through this day and every day, I ask this in the name of the Christ to serve the one. all in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Meditation on the path of the inner light. Sit erect. Be relaxed. Be in a position of physical comfort. Withdraw your consciousness inward in slow, successive stages, using your imagination. Your imagination is a creative activity, producing definite inner changes. You can depend on this, for it is one of the forces of influencing substance itself. Withdraw your consciousness from the physical brain. After you have centered it deeply in the brain, withdraw it and place it to the astral body. From the astral body to the mind. Now recognize yourself as being an integrated personality. From the integrated personality to the soul. Focus upon seeing a thread of golden light which connects these three bodies. The body of your physical brain, your astral body, and back to the mind. Keeping your consciousness steadily in the head, at the center between the eyebrows, the ajna center. This thread, dual in nature, like two golden cables intertwined, passing from the heart and head, and connects you as a personality with the soul. When you have carried it upwards and seen it aligning and relating all three aspects of the personality, then pause in your meditation and quietly, silently realize that you are now face to face with your own soul and standing before the angel of the presence, who is yourself. spiritual reality. Manifesting through three aspects. You are therefore a reflection of the Trinity of Deity. There is in reality no separation or duality, no I or thou, but simply God in manifestation, whose nature is light. Then say to yourself, having pervaded this world of the little manifested self with one fraction of myself, I remain greater, wider, and overshadowing all my daily living. Focus upon this in thought for 5 minutes. Then say, I, the manifesting self, through the magical power of my nature, revitalize, redeem, reabsorb this fraction dwelling in the body. Focus upon this in mind for 5 minutes. Then carry the life and light of the angel of the presence back again consciously into the body, and know it to be there, illuminating your mind, rendering positive quiescence of your astral nature, and invigorating and stimulating your physical body. Do this slowly, using your will. Then send forth the incoming light and love in strength and blessings to all your brothers and sisters, to all your immediate family and environment whom you seek to aid, to all distressed humanity. Then say aloud, may the energy of the divine self inspire and the light of the soul direct. May I be led from darkness to light, from the unreal to the real, from death to immortality.
Pressing her host.
Okay, just relax. Okay, so I'm going to just show one more thing. And I keep saying that it's really good for everybody to take responsibility and get rid of as much habits as they can that draws them back into being with people, like birthdays or ceremonies or bar mitzvahs or even Christmas. It's going to come, all these things. Even when people die, you can't be there when they die, and a lot of people in China had to pick up some 20,000 boxes of people's ashes, and they had to do that like months down the road as they were filling up buildings with these boxes, and there was no availability for people to carry out. Now, what we're not aware of is that cultures have habits. When you die, there's a cultural process, a religious process that you really feel you need to go through. When you have Christmas, there's a religious process you really feel you need to go through. All these things, and that includes going to a baseball game, being a Cardinal, being, a Dodger fan or whatever. So those fanatic things, it's in that solar plex that's going to kill us. It's the solar plex that's killing us. And we'll find that people who have very weak hearts but strong solar plexes, they cry out that they don't have rights. Their rights for their solar plex to have all what they want has been tarnished. And now there's rules against their solar plex. And they simply can't go out and fulfill their needs of their solar plex. So what happened? The first thing that happened when we said, okay, we're going to open up businesses, we opened up tattoo parlors, and hair parlors, and fingernail salons, and gyms. And I can think of a whole lot of other places that need to get opened. There are restaurants out there. They can easily sit. People outside, people inside, cut back 1/3 of the tables. If you can cut people's hair and do tattoos and breathe over their arm and write in their face and do their fingernails, you can definitely serve food. And that's a service. That's an actual service. It's not a habit. There are people who need to eat. There are people who need to work. A lot of people would work in a restaurant. Very few people would work in that tattoo parlor. Just one or two creepy-ass persons sitting there with all their demonic paraphernalia. And that's the first place we're asked to go to. Something's really wrong. So it's what's going to kill us is our habits, our desire to be back into the group, be back into mass rallies or football games or whatever it is. So one group that's really having a problem with this is the Hasidic Jews. They are very fanatical people and they live 100% on their own. They do not look at other people. They do not think of other people. This is their world, and they're burdened from not being in their world, and this is their world, not ours. So their habits and their ceremonies are theirs and theirs alone. No one has a right to tell them what to eat or how to dress, or according to them, that's absolutely for sure. So, they live a very, very fanatic life, extremely fanatical life. And when someone dies, everybody comes to the house. Hundreds of people come to the house. They bring food for weeks. Every person who dies. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds have died in New York. They're on the highest list. Because they can't stay away from each other. They can't. And all the rabbis are going crazy. Holy God, Holy God Almighty, please listen. I know you really feel you need to do this, but you must stay at home and you must stay isolated in your rooms. They're trying. They're out there with vans and loudspeakers and everything. So I want you to look at this one last thing and help to realize, that these are the same people out there in Michigan with pickets and the same people out there with other things. And then if we look at poverty and we look at the things in the world that happened before this virus, we really have a real problem. If you go to places like Georgia, where it's really poor, in certain locations, really, really poor, but you go to that very location, you'll find that the highest paid person in that location is the coach of the football team. The highest paid person, and then it would be all the team players. Be all the highest paid people in the entire area, entire community, entire town, entire city, entire state. And then they just absorb your money and they make you build their stadiums and make you come pay for it and make you feel obligated as a loyal fan. And they get all this money, and yet if you look around in that place, there's more poor people, more people living on less than $40,000 a year, cannot get out of their homes. Their homes cannot be made better. They cannot imagine having solar or maybe an electric car or any of those things that are out there in the world. Those things are completely outside their realm of a possibility. Because this thing to where we believe in these stars or these delusions, and we create a grandeur while we live in poverty. And we allow this to go on. So we need to look around and see that this is going on and what it's affecting and how it's creating poverty. Literally how it creates poverty. So let's take a look at this one. This is a really good one. What's this?
I've never imagined I would see this in my lifetime. So many bodies from a short period of time.
These are scenes from a recent burial at a Jewish cemetery in New York. The deceased died of COVID-19. The virus has hit New York's ultra-Orthodox Jewish communities particularly hard.
It's not in Iran and it's not in Syria. It's not what you ever see on YouTube from different countries where you see bodies lined up. This is New York.
Doctors and funeral directors told us they estimate hundreds of ultra-Orthodox Jews have died in Brooklyn alone. This video from late March shows bodies lined up inside a funeral chapel in Borough Park, a neighborhood with the highest number of COVID-19 cases in Brooklyn. Avraham Berkowitz is a Hasidic rabbi who lives in nearby Crown Heights. He recently attended the funeral of a family member from his car.
They told the families they were not allowed to come. They had to stay only a few people and be at a distance. So tragic.
He's recorded at least 39 fatalities in his neighborhood alone.
Life has completely stopped in the last few weeks in Crown Heights. Sirens and ambulances, heart-wrenching.
The coronavirus is posing unique challenges to these close-knit communities.
We belong to a community that thrives in physical proximity and constant interaction. At weddings, at bar mitzvahs, 3 times a day at the prayer. We go to the same kosher restaurants, the same grocery stores, our kids go to the same schools. We all meet each other, know each other, and it's one interactive circle.
Now, long-standing traditions are being upended by social distancing guidelines and are having to be rethought on the fly. People are holding virtual bar mitzvahs and attending drive-by weddings. As well as funerals.
For your safety and that of so many others.
Rabbis are telling people to stay home.
Follow what God says, and you stay at home.
We are fighting an invisible enemy.
Some people don't take this very seriously, but it must be taken very seriously.
They're urging followers to heed authorities' calls to practice social distancing, especially among prayer groups. The hospitals that serve these communities have also had to adapt quickly because of the recent surge in patients. Dr. Sarah Rosenell is a cardiologist at Maimonides Medical Center in Borough Park.
We have over 400 patients that we're treating for COVID, and we have transformed every single place to become an ICU to treat them.
Maimonides has banned almost all visitors, including family members, unless death is imminent, which can make it hard for families to reach their loved ones in time to recite customary prayers.
There was this 97-year-old Hasidic Holocaust survivor, already intubated, and his heart was not beating anymore. So we had to do chest compression. So there was an aide who was at bedside, and he had his phone on speaker, and the phone on speaker was prayers from the family member, and this is how this patient was able to die with dignity and still following the Jewish law.
Stories of people dying alone, without proper rites, drove community members to come up with another solution.
We get a lot of complaints that the hospitals wouldn't let any family members in. How can we say final prayers if the people are dying alone?
Mayor Berger is the director of operations of the Jewish Burial Society Chesed Shel Emes. He helped create a hotline with pre-recorded Jewish prayers, meant for the final moments before death.
I followed you. Your family very much wants to be with you in person. However, due to the current circumstances, we just isn't safe or allowed.
People can have a patient rep in the hospital pull on the hotline and put the prayers on speaker right next to the people who pass away.
Traditionally, bodies are buried within a day of death. But this has proved challenging for Chesed Shel Emes because their caseload has quadrupled over the past few weeks.
When I'm seeing young people leaving behind 7 orphans, this is the hardest part. Just thinking about all the families who are being left behind.
And the families left behind are now forced to grieve alone during periods of mourning known as Shivas.
The whole beauty of the Jewish tradition and religion is after a person passes, you're with your immediate family for 7 days, and hundreds of people from the community come and visit you and comfort you and bring you food. Suddenly that whole therapy, that whole ritual, that whole religious power of comfort, that is gone. They're locked alone with a video camera. I had to do Zoom Shiva calls.
The ongoing crisis has moved Rabbi Berkowitz to wage a personal campaign, running medical supplies to healthcare workers.
How are you? Do you need masks? Okay.
I reached out to every major hospital, New York Presbyterian, Methodist, Mount Sinai, every single hospital. If I wasn't helping frontline healthcare workers get the supplies they need, I would be a complete wreck. Members of the Hasidic community, the Orthodox Jewish community, were shuttering the synagogues to save lives. But this virus doesn't know race, it doesn't know religion, it doesn't know color, it doesn't know borders. And if we're...
So that is the situation. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that people have a hard time not following their solar plex. Yeah, and why they have diabetes and why they have high blood pressure and why they have a lot of problems, because they follow their solar plex, their lower self, the left-hand path. It's easier to follow than it is to make decisions on your own. When you focus on your heart, you have to gain wisdom. To gain wisdom, you have to question. Yeah? And you have to find the truth, and you have to put yourself in the right place, and nobody's going to put you there. Yeah, if you're going to save someone else, you better save yourself first to be able to save that person. Yeah, it's just how it works. When you're in a plane, you better put your mask on first before you put it on your kid. It doesn't make sense, but it is the truth. It's the way it works best. Yeah. So I wish everybody, to really wake up and take this as a full opportunity. Drink lots of water, eat your avocado. I'm going to continue adding more dietary things that you should do. Hopefully that you'll take this as an opportunity and do these things, and make this, a real change. If you add spirituality and you do other things like that, soul therapy, if people can get these pyramids in their homes and share it with people who've gone through the coronavirus, it would make the biggest difference in the world, for their healing and for their recovery. But you got to do all the things I'm talking about. Everything I'm here to do is to save you, and you didn't know that this was coming, and I warned you. A couple years ago, that we have cataclysmic scenarios coming our way. Yeah? And they're going to come. How we're going to deal with them is how God's going to put them on us. And then what it is that we're going to deal with, we have to deal with it. And right now, it's a virus. We've wiped away the nuclear holocaust, but that country's not over with. So we still have a lot to work with, a lot to change. And if we all turn to Jesus, we have a good chance of changing North Korea into a loving country. Resurrecting it for the first time. And doing the same to Russia, China, and every country on earth. That's my purpose. Yeah? So all of us have to cooperate in order to bring this about. Yeah? It's the 10 Commandments. We're going to work it out. And I'm going to usher in every single one of them until you got it. Until it's done and over with. Yeah? Okay? Enjoy. Thank you.